Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Picture Book Chat. I'm Mary Ellen Brax. I'm the Public Services Manager for Early Learning. And with me today, I have Sheri Boggs. Hi, Sheri.
Hi, Mel.
Can you tell our audience what your position is?
I am the Youth Collection Development Librarian for the district. So I'm basically the buyer of all the youth materials.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I get to see all the new picture books when they come in. It's super exciting, and I'm always wanting to share them with people. And my coworkers kind of run from me because I'm just like, look at this picture. This is, and then I'll tell them what's so great about this book. So I'm doing this today with Mel.
Yes. And so, yes, and usually she runs to me when she has a fun new book because we use all the books. Either we recommend them to customers or we're using them in Storytime. So this is a great way for us to be able to chat about the new books coming out and also show you and highlight some of the ones that we really like. So thank you for joining us today. And Sheri, do you want to start? You want to take it away?
I do. And I also wanted to pause and just tell our viewers, when we do this, it's kind of interesting to see, like as a buyer, I look for certain things in the picture books. And Mel, coming at it from like an early learning perspective, looks for other things in the book. So I think it'll be interesting to kind of see like what we pick out in these books as we talk about them. So my first one is, Can You Guess Food? With the Very Hungry Caterpillar. This isn't going to air probably, like we're doing this the day after we all heard that Eric Carle had died at 91. Right. So we'd planned to do this book, but I feel like it's important to start with it. And as a buyer, it's really funny because the publishing world, I've seen this the most with Eric Carle books and Dr. Seuss books. Like publishers will just keep publishing the winning formula. And so in the last 10 years, I've seen so many like Eric Carle spinoffs, and a lot of them are Very Hungry Caterpillar, like I Love You Mom with the Very Hungry Caterpillar, I Love You Dad. And a lot of them strike me as kind of like last minute Father's Day or Mother's Day gifts.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of the things you see right next to the cash register, like at Auntie's bookstore. But some of them really hit what you would think is their target audience. And I think that's the case with this one. So right away, it's a guessing book, and that can be really fun for toddlers and preschoolers to try to guess what.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. So it starts out, can you guess the food in this book? The Very Hungry Caterpillar thinks you can. And so we start with this, and it's round and sticky. So it's got this page turning dynamic where, it's like, guess what's on the next page? And then you've got your watermelon, your cheese. I love the high contrast of these pictures. Even though babies wouldn't necessarily understand what's going on in the story, I think these vivid high contrast illustrations would appeal to their developing eyes. So this one I like a lot. There's another one I think that has to do with farms. I think there's maybe 4 in this little series of Can You Guess. So Mel, tell me what you thought about this one.
I love it. You mentioned the illustrations. I love the illustrations, the bright, colorful pictures, that the white background just really makes everything pop. So little caterpillar on top of the cheese. I just love it. And the kids will love guessing what the caterpillar eats. They even do a guessing one on the back. So I really like that. Which fruit has a stem and is sweet? It's a cherry, which of course, your preschoolers might, if they didn't see it, there's a lot of things they would guess there. So that's nice. I think it's great for toddlers or even for preschoolers. I think toddlers is the main audience, but preschoolers will definitely love it. We all love Eric Carle. I think one of the big reasons I love Eric Carle is that just with the way his illustrations are, it leads to doing some great artwork. So I know in my twins' first grade classroom years ago, they're 24 now, but they did a whole Eric Carle series and had all the different artwork that they did too. So that was a lot of fun to see. I have some of my twins artwork in back of me that they did, and then their older brother framed it for us. You can also do a lot of food science with the kids on this one too. So that would be a fun activity, and have them guess what some food is. You could talk about taste, you can talk about texture. You could pair it with a nutrition unit for older kids too, and which are treats and which are more healthy foods. And I just think, I mean, just especially hearing the news about Eric Carle, just there's a lot of things I just love about all his books. The Very Hungry Caterpillar has always been one of my favorites. I like this sequence, and the kids can learn to tell the story, you know, themselves too. So that's always a lot of fun. There's an Eric Carle Museum in Springfield, Massachusetts, and my family's from Massachusetts. I still haven't been, but unfortunately, but I would love to go there. So yes, Eric Carle with the Very Hungry Caterpillar Can You Guess series. Love it. So our next one, Sheri.
So my next one is I Love You, Baby Burrito.
Mhm.
First off, as a buyer, I like the green and yellow color scheme. It's not, you know, kind of a gender specific new baby book. So I like that it, you know, works for everybody with a new baby.
Right.
I love the spotted end papers. It's just really appealing. So it starts out, hola, baby, you're finally here. Mi dulce, my sweet. That's my really bad Spanish pronunciation. So it's a little bit bilingual. The whole thing isn't just some kind of key phrases. This is your home, tu casa, where we promise to keep you safe. So it's got this really simple text. It's reassuring. You've got a diverse family here. I enjoyed that. This is my favorite page. I love this, where they talk about her, I don't know if it's her, but the baby's little carita, like little face.
Yeah.
I just love how close up that is. I think that babies would really love this. Toddlers would really love this. So it's just a really sweet book about, you know, welcoming a baby and introducing their little body parts like their manitas. There's a pronunciation guide in the back.
Yes.
Everything about this is great. And then the title, of course, like you think, okay, where's the burrito come in? And then they show how to wrap the baby up like a little burrito. And I think that could be really fun for little kids to do with stuffed animals or dolls.
Definitely.
Holding them up like this.
Mhm.
So I think this is great. I think definitely toddlers, maybe preschool. What do you think?
Yes, definitely toddlers and preschoolers have to see stories about babies and pictures of babies too, because they can kind of relate. It's a great introduction, I think, for preschoolers if they're having a baby sibling come into the house. So that's always fun. I really love the brightness of the pictures, but they're bright yet they're soft at the same time. I love when they're able to give that. So even though it's got a soft look, you could still see it from far away if you're reading it to a Storytime group there. I love the glossary at the back. Yeah, and that's great. And so I was trying to practice my Spanish, which my daughter laughs at me because I learned French and Spanish with a French accent, and I'm trying, and because it's so much fun. I love languages. And but you know, this would make a great bedtime story. And like you said, getting to wrap up, you know, their stuffed animals and their dolls, their animals. Yeah, that would be fun. I could even see my kiddos would have tried to wrap the dog or a cat up like that, but it would be fun. And it would be a great introduction to talk about bedtime routines, because bedtime routines are often the toughest part of the day. But yeah, and I thought it was a great introduction to some Spanish words. So what a great way to start introducing some other languages too. And like you said, the diverse family was great to have also. So I was a big fan of this one. And I think it would make a great Storytime book and a great book to read one-on-one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. My next one, I think, is tailor-made for Storytime. And I don't know if any of your staff have used this in Storytimes or not. I would love to hear back how
Yeah,
it goes.
we'll have to ask them.
I have to do my special voice for this. Big Rig Rescue. Like if you can read this thing, like this entire thing in that micro his voice, the guy that does like dirty jobs.
Yeah.
I'm saying his name right, but the whole thing just begs to be read aloud in manly voice. I love that it's got your kind of blueprint schematic here for how a big rig looks, and all the things are labeled.
Mm-hmm.
It takes place in winter. So here you've got your big rescue truck. I love the close-up, 2-page spread here. I love that this guy almost looks like one of those Fisher Price little people.
Oh.
He's
Yeah.
got kind of that look to him, like it's almost like toys, but not really. Okay, so they have to go out because a big rig has turned over on the road. It's the middle of winter. I love that you kind of get the dashboard look here, like you feel like you're right there in the illustration. I think kids would really, really love this. And the text is super simple. There's not a lot of lines on the page, but it's all kind of terminology. So they talk about the rollover. I love this page where they talk about what they're going to need to get this thing back up again. We're going to need chains, some webbing straps, and maybe a snatch block. We don't want all that scrap pouring onto the road. What a mess that would be. So I think it's just super fun. I hurt my throat doing that voice a minute ago, so I'm going to stop doing that. But the whole thing, I think it's fantastic. And I had no idea how you would get a semi up. So I learned something from reading this book.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what do you know? So tell me what you thought about this one, Mel.
Oh, I loved it. As soon as I saw it, I knew it would be just a big draw for most of our preschoolers. I mean, how many times have you seen big trucks come by and, everything stops because they're watching the trucks. So, and watching how they work. So I thought this is great. Some great vocabulary in there for not only kids, but for adults as we learn, the vocabulary that goes along with, trucking and big rigs. So I thought the kids would definitely love that. I also liked there was kind of a theme, the working together theme in here, which I thought would be really fun to work on in a classroom or in story time, how they work together to get the truck back up. It would be great as an introduction to block time and construction zone. And then you could bring out all your trucks too, to have them play with that. And blocks are great for working together. So I feel like it kind of went right in with the theme. I'm working on some STEM challenges now for preschoolers through ELO, which is Everyday Language and Learning Opportunities. So there is a website called helloelo.org, which really talks about conversations and having opportunities for conversations to learn more language, which in turns helps get kids ready for school. This is a great book to talk about what's going on in the pictures and how are they helping each other. So a lot of great vocabulary there. But when we were talking about the STEM challenges, when I saw the blueprint on the front of the truck, what a great extension to say, what kind of a truck would you design? So you're working in some of that STEM engineering. Could you make a blueprint and have it all labeled like they have it here? What would your truck look like? So I think that would be a great extension activity and have some fun. And then they can try to create it out of, some materials you might have around the house or in the classroom, and then take a look at it and say, okay, what works, what doesn't work, and how would you change it? How would you improve it? So I thought this had a lot of possibilities. When I first saw it, I was like, the kids will love it because it's trucks. It's helping people. Even the picture in the back is great. So, and I'm really into looking at the end papers too. So I think how they did the end papers was fantastic. And that again was thanks to a book written from somebody from the Eric Carle Museum talking about looking at art in picture books. So the end papers can give kids a clue about what's going on in the book. And this just, I think, was a really fun new book about trucks out. So
yeah, we see lots of new truck books, but this one really stands out to me.
Yeah,
kind of cream of the crop of the truck books.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad
you story time. Yeah.
I'm glad you're talking about STEM, because that sets me up to talk about our last book.
Yes.
which I love so much. It's called Someone Builds the Dream. And it's by Lisa Wheeler and Loren Long. Loren Long, people might remember, is the illustrator that does all those Otis books about the
Oh, okay.
tractor,
Mm-hmm.
with really, kind of distinct, soft, really detailed art. So right away, I just love this. I love that we've got a woman construction worker looking at the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with all the emphasis on STEM, I think it's to get kids ready for college and the academic sciences. And I love this because it talks about how you use science in the trades.
Mm-hmm.
And I rarely see picture books that deal with the trades. And as the daughter of two working class parents, like it just does something for my heart. Like my dad was a union pipe fitter, and so I grew up hearing about all the jobs he was working on. Like he was the head foreman on the vet building in Washington State University that they were remodeling. So,
Mm-hmm.
like he took us through there and showed us all this stuff that was really boring to a 6-year-old girl. I wish I paid more attention because, some of it was pretty amazing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the big sinks they would have for horses, and it was really cool. But anyway, back to this book. So it talks about all over across this great big world, jobs are getting done. And so it talks about people doing the work, and you've got your architect,
Mm-hmm.
and she's drawing up the plans, but someone's got to saw the wood, someone's actually got to build it. And so you see the house being built. And so it just keeps going through that. I love how vivid the illustrations are. I like the light and the shadow in a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
illustrations. There's just the way the illustrator is using the light to kind of spotlight things, I think is just really, I don't know, it's really attention grabbing. And then they see people having to actually smelt the ore to get the metal. So the whole book kind of goes that way. You see different scientists working on their projects, but then you see the tradespeople who are actually putting the thing together. I love this fountain on this page. Like you can see all
Oh.
these little bronze sculptures, and they're all little animals. I think that would be really fun for kids to identify.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it ends, let me just try to get there. Basically, someone's got to make the book, someone's got to write it, someone's
Mm-hmm.
got to illustrate it, but then you actually have to make the physical thing. And so here's people working in the factory,
Mm-hmm.
actually printing it up and getting it bound. So it's just a gorgeous book. Again, there are some great close-ups that I just saw. Like, it's just a beautiful piece of art right there. And I love
Yeah.
the look on her face, like just that kind of pride in
Yes.
getting your job done. So I've gone on about this long enough. Mel, tell me what you thought about it.
Oh, I thought about the same thing. I've already put it on the book list for the STEM challenges that we're working on because of that. But I like that it shows all sides, what goes into everything. And again, it's that teamwork. It takes a team. So I don't think we really realized it when we put these books together, but the teamwork theme is strong with these last couple of books. So I love the rhyming text in it also, so that you get that language along with that visual. I was just blown away by the illustrations.
Mhm.
It was something that, as I was looking through it, my husband walks by and went, "Whoa, look at those illustrations." So, that's something that really does pop out there too. This would be a fun book again if you were trying to do some STEM challenges too, to work on, well, what's your dream? What would you build? And what part would you like to be a part of? Would you like to be the engineer? Would you like to be the one who's actually sawing the wood and putting the building together? So I think, we oftentimes when we think of STEM, you're right, we don't think of all the occupations out there that go along with STEM, like electricians and plumbers and just the technical skills that takes too, and what value is of that. And I love that it says to engineer a bridge takes skill, math and science fit the bill, and I-beams ordered from the mill. But someone works to mine the ore, smelt the iron, pour the bean. So, I mean, just the flow of the book, I really liked how it moved from one process to the other. So it really shows kids that there is a process, and which, you know, is part of STEM too, that there is a process and a structure. So I thought it would be fun to say, what's your dream? And, or who would you like to be in here and why? And I thought that would be good. And even the back cover is just so pretty. Got to get the glare out of it. But I could really see, I could see using this in story time and then having the kids, you know, maybe draw what they would like to be doing, or just even have a discussion in a classroom about, well, which job looked really fun to you? Which one would you like to do? And, you know, just start that conversation. And I love the diversity of the characters in the books, that it doesn't matter who you are, you could do any of these jobs. I think it's very subtle, but I think, you know, pictures speak volumes a lot of times, and to be able to see yourself in books is, we know there's research around that it's very strong. So yes, I was a big fan. You picked some real winners this week, Sheri.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I was really excited to talk about all of these.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite out of all of them?
Oh, Someone Builds the Dream.
Yeah.
This is one I might even buy myself and buy for myself. And that's something I always want to point out. Books go out of print so fast, especially picture books. I don't know what it is. So, you know, if you have a favorite new picture book, I would recommend buying it, because you don't know how long it's going to be available. You know, I found sometimes just trying to replace things that I bought for the library just 3 years ago, I can't get them anymore. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I do suggest the same thing to teachers too. So that if they have one that they really like to use in a unit, that they probably want to buy it, because eventually the ones at the library do wear out, unfortunately. And we try to replace our really popular ones, but you know, sometimes we just can't. So, but on a happy note, there was some great things in here, and I was glad that we had picked out that Eric Carle book. Just the timing for us was great, so I really enjoyed that.
What was your favorite?
I'm kind of tied between the Big Rig Rescue and Someone Builds the Dream. I like them for different reasons. The Someone Builds the Dream really speaks to, I just loved all the artwork and the way things went together, the way they showed the sequence of how things get put together. The Big Rig Rescue, I just know would be so fun in a story time. So not that Someone Builds a Dream wouldn't, but I just know you'd have a lot of little boys especially excited. And then I would love to see the little girls getting excited about that too. So trucks are just fun to look at and climb inside of. I thought it would be great for when we do like our bus story time, or when we have the bus come out. We've had the garbage truck come out. So I know those are kind of big draws, and that would be a great one to put into that story time and just get all the kids excited. So. Well, another great selection of books. So thank you, Sheri, for pulling those together for us to talk about. And thanks for coming to talk with me. So just a reminder to everybody who's watching, we do these once a month, and we do have all of them up on our YouTube channel, so that you can go back if you've missed a couple episodes, you can always go back and take a look and see what we've talked about. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope you have a great day. Thanks, Sheri.
Thanks, Mary Ellen.
Bye.
Bye.